think. Yep. Okay. And yours works. Okay. All right. You guys ready? Call to order the Common Council meeting for Monday, June 16th, 2025. Roll call, please. Okay, the gentleman from the 3rd, gentleman from the 7th, lady from the 8th, gentleman from the 10th, and the gentleman from the 17th are excused. At this time, I'll ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, can I have approval of the minutes of the meeting held May 19th, 2025? Still make your votes on here on your laptop, please. Is there a second? Moving a second to approve the minutes. Any changes or corrections? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Oh, I have to acknowledge. Go ahead.
Citizens' comments. Salvador Salcedo.
Can we please have your name and address for the record, please?
Salvador Salcedo Jr., 6038 18th Avenue. Hi, I'm here to speak on behalf of my father, Salvador Salcedo Sr. His garbage bins and recycle bins have been removed from his property due to he's supposed to be he broke a law. So I need to know what is it that he needs to do to receive his garbage bins and recycle bins back onto his property.
Okay, this is just your time to comment. There's not a back and forth here.
Okay,
But I believe staff has been in contact with your father on various options. I'm not going to get into back and forth, but
Okay.
just to let you know that staff is aware of that and has presented him with a couple of options. And I'm probably doing more than I should.
Okay.
but
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, go ahead.
Molly Gray Moores.
Molly Gray Moore, 6039 14th Avenue. First of all, I want to say thank you to our guys in blue that came out to support our Juneteenth event. It was Detective Chad, Detective Josh, and Officer DJ. They came out and supported Juneteenth, which is dear and close to me because that's my Freedom Day. I want to piggyback off of what Josh just said. It's becoming a trend with, I can't go into detail because I only have a few seconds to speak, with a recycle guy that's going around taking people recycle. I have no problem with him going through the recycle, taking out things that don't belong in there, but the problem I have is him leaving the dumpsters and not dumping what's remaining in them and leaving the proper notice with the tenant or the homeowner on why he's not removing the recycle that's in there. And for Sal's house, his recycle and trash bin was an issue because the guy that picked up recycle said he had one too many mailbox. this is my opinion, his job was to pick up the recycle, not judge how many recycle, how many garbage cans, how many mailboxes. Just pick it up. And let that be up to the supervisor, the superintendent, the director to take care of that in the city. Not only have he done that, a lady came back to my house today and said she removed her pride flag from in front of her house because her neighbor have on video him doing it to her. He takes her garbage can, her recycle bin, and leaves it in the middle of the street. He have done it on numerous occasions. I spoke with Alderman Bill and Alderman Kelly because he did it again in another district. Yes, we do have people putting the wrong thing in the recycle and the garbage bin, but Common Council, there's a better way to handle this because now it seems like he's just being an asshole. You need to respect people if you want them to respect you, and that's how I feel. If you want these people to not put what they putting in the garbage can, send them a notice to their house. Because the tags that I've seen, there's nothing on them. He didn't write anything on them. The neighbor that's in Alderman Eric and Kelly's district, the wife videoed him getting off the truck, going from house to house. And he didn't even bother to take any of those bins. A couple of months ago, I called Alderwoman Ruth because my alderman, which is not here tonight, wouldn't even answer the phone, so I can tell him what happened up on 61st Street. Common Council, something needs to be done because people are getting pissed. They don't have faith in the system. I suggested to them, put your address in and it'll bring up who your alderperson in. One of the persons said, why should I? They've been allowing him to do what he's doing. What's gonna make it different? And they're not lying because I was targeted when I came here and voiced my opinion about what happened to me. So the citizens are right. We get targeted when we voice our opinion. And for Sal, he didn't tell everything. His father had to be put in a hospital because his blood pressure was so high and he was so stressed out over this foolishness. Why is he being hospitalized over a recycle bin and a garbage bin that should have been handled differently? You know why? Because nobody, Alderman is not here again tonight, didn't call him back. He called the city inspector's office. He went to the city inspector's office. The city inspector came out along with my alderman. I was there too. They totally ignored that man. I tried to talk to the director. I'm quite sure he's back there because I seen him. And I also talked to the superintendent. They ignored him again. Just recently, I talked to Sal. I said, Sal, have anyone talked to you from the city? He
Ma'am, you
said
have
no.
30 seconds.
And I believe him. Common Council, you need to get it together because we're going to take it to the street instead of coming here trying to be nice.
Jason Rimkus.
Hello.
Name and address for the record, please.
Sure. Jason Ripkus, 6715 45th Avenue, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Just want to say, I've been covering things throughout the community, and boy, I really thought that was so historic, that 125th anniversary of the Simmons Public Library. It was a great event. People came out and also celebrating. We got the 100th anniversary of the Uptown Library, and then we're celebrating the 175th anniversary of the city. And that's quite a remarkable events that people are coming together. I did want to bring up Tim Casey, the Director of City Development, because he spoke at the Simmons Library, and one of his things was quotes was he was quoting Daniel Burnham, the architect, was make no little plans, make big plans. And that sure seems like what's happening in the city is that we're now 5 years ago, we weren't in a quite great position, but now it's like the tide seems to be turning and a lot of great things are being happening in the Kenosha. For example, when I worked with Tim on the Keela building, Catherine Marks called me up, said, Jason, we need you in this meeting. Go in there, met Tim, and he showed me the plans, the architects of the Keela building, and I wasn't sure it was going to happen. And then a year and a half later, when we actually went and then recorded the after effect, I was really, really impressed on what happened. Everything he talked about happened in the design of that building. So they're doing great things out there as well. And I usually work with a lot of the city departments that are going on. Last month or a couple months ago, I was awarded at the Wisconsin Community Media on the state level of footage I submitted of what is going on in Kenosha, the different nonprofit organizations. And even though they gave it to me, I'm really saying it's for us because I'm not pointing the camera at me. I'm pointing the camera at you and the community. And there's some great people out here in the community. I'm just honored to highlight that as well. And I think the biggest thing that happened this year was that St. Patrick's Day parade in the green of the lake. I'll tell you that excitement was in the air, and it was like a lightning rod just hit the city, and that's just what we needed. And we're getting a lot of feedback, as well as that Muni Golf course where we had the downtown lighting in Kenosha December. And again, that's us, the community, and everybody involved that's going to these events and that are participating into it. So the last point I want to bring up is kind of like what I did in 2020. Well, people ask, well, what's going in my district? Who's my alder person? What district am I in? Well, what I did is in the pandemic, I Zoom called individually the alderman prior to it. And we did a little Zoom interview, and it came out great because people want to know what's going on in the community. Going, yes, there's great things, and yes, there are issues that need to be addressed, and that's how we're going to get to that next level is how we address these issues and move forward. So I'd like to, in the next coming weeks, I'd like to contact some aldermen and talk to them individually so that people know what's going on in your district. I'm sure you're doing great things in the district. I'm sure things are going on that we don't know about. This is where I come in. And that's pretty much it. There's a lot of events going on. I'm going to be at covering the Mayor's Youth Commission down by Wolf and Beetle Park on Wednesday. We got the parade coming up, the car show, a lot of great events in the community. And thank you so much for your time.
Debbie Kreider.
Hi, I'm Debbie Kreider, 8049 60th Avenue, and I'm in the District 14, and Kenny Harper is my alderman. He's been so great helping me with this concern, and also Mayor Bogdala. It's just concerning my sidewalk. Right after the Sci-Fi Network came through, and they've been there many more times, they're apparently boring under the ground. I do have roots by my trees, but they weren't causing trouble with my sidewalk until all this boring started. And when you research it online, it says, where does the dirt go? It puts pressure and it pushes everything up. But when I called Sci-Fi Network twice now, they're not very nice about it. They come out, they say, yeah, there's a tree root. That's all your problem, which I don't know if you can see my pictures, but there's a big bump here. It falls down here. This goes sideways. That was never like that before. They come out and they put dirt everywhere. They don't pick it up. And, oh, this is a far shot from my neighbor because that's what was sitting out there for a really long time. My neighbor also has trouble with his sidewalk right by the tree. So I just, when I call, they say, tell the city about it. It's the city's fault because it's a tree, because it's in the parkway. And I told them I don't think it's fair that the city should have to pay for all this and that some of it might fall to me because they said it's farther away. Tree roots are everywhere. I just don't buy it, and I would appreciate if someone would investigate this a bit more just to see if everybody else is having problems with where they bore under the tree if the roots are causing damage to the sidewalk. So that's all I wanted to mention today. I thank you for your time.
Okay, please continue.
B, communications, petitions, reports of departments. B1, approval of the following applications. A, 141 operators licenses. B, 9 temporary Class B beer and/or Class B wine licenses. C, 2 amusement and recreation enterprise supervisors.
Gentleman from the 16th. It's been moved and seconded to approve item B1, correct? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
C, recommendations from the Committee on Licenses and Permits. C1, applications for new operators licenses. A, Hannah Fontaine, 30. B, Cal Vorpal, 70.
Gentleman from the 16th. Any additional, Mr. Vice Chair? Okay.
C2, renewal applications for new operators licenses. A, Erica Minky, 90. B, Vishal Kumar Pandya, 40. C, Jasmine Davis, 40. D, Douglas Behringer, 25. E, Destiny Boyd, 35. F, Michaela Storino, 50. G, Jacob Conover, 30. H, Brooke Boyer, 40. I, Anastasia Cintron, 50. J, Teresa Carrera, 10. K, Desiree Stout, 25. L, Shannon Martin,
Bless you.
5. M, Perla Latalpa, 50.
Okay, at this time, open up to a hearing. Anyone here to speak on item C1 or C2, please come forward, state your name and address. Anyone here to speak? Anyone here to speak? If not, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is approval, C1 and C2. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
C3, renewal application of Linda Friedrich for an operator's license.
Gentleman from the 16th. Is that concurrence, Mr. Vice Chair?
C4, renewal application of Joseph Roush for an operator's license. C5, renewal application of Alexander Diaz for an operator's license.
Okay, at this time, open up to a hearing. Anyone here to speak on items C3, 4, 5, or 6, please come forward, state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Sarah Pantillo, 4048 6th Ave. And I'm just here to try to figure out what's going on with the pending deposition charge that I was told I filled out my application wrong about. I talked to the clerk members, 2 of them, and they both said that nothing is showing as of pending on their end. My DUI, that is all taken care of, so that one is fine, but the pending marijuana one is my concern.
There may be questions from the council to address that concern, or I will ask the vice chairman if he has any comments on that when we finish the hearing on all of them. We do have to read URC 6. We have to read that, and that's part of the motion.
C6, renewal application of Sarah Pantillo for an operator's license.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else on C3, 4, 5, or 6, please come forward, state your name and address.
Joseph Roush, 5003 33rd Avenue. I guess I'm just wondering if this is granted, is the follow-up review going to be scheduled today, or will it be something that I am informed about? I don't feel like I have a full understanding of the process that's going forward from now.
Okay, I will have let's finish the hearing, and I'll have the city attorney address
Okay.
that concern.
Okay, thank you. Sorry if this isn't the right
Nope,
space for that.
it's okay.
Linda Friedrich, 6037 32nd Avenue, and just here if anybody has any questions.
Okay, there may be some from the committee or council after we finish the hearing.
Okay.
If there is, we'll bring you back up. Anybody else? C3, 4, 5, or 6? Anyone else here to speak? Anyone else? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence. Gentleman from the first,
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to make sure that
I hope. Yeah.
it looks like it, the button's right here, that Sarah Pantillo understands the conditions of the non-renewal revocation hearing.
I was going to have the city attorney
Okay.
address that.
Perfect, thank you.
Mr. Knight, maybe?
Sure. With regard to agenda items C3, C4, C5, and C6, the recommendation coming out of committee was to grant subject to non-renewal revocation hearings. All of those applicants are here tonight will be granted a license, but they will be subject to a hearing process With regard to that hearing process, they will be served with papers which will outline the issues with regard to their applications and/or ability to continue to be licensed. With those papers, they will get a return date. They'll come back to the Licensing and Permitting Committee for a hearing before that body. The city attorney's office will represent the city with regard to those hearings and present evidence and generally testimony with respect to the issues with the applications. And at that point in time, the applicants would all be given the opportunity to speak and present any evidence that they would have with regard to the complaint that they receive, which is going to outline the issues with the applications. And then the committee would make a recommendation to this body. This body would then make a decision with regard to the review and hearing process to confirm the hearing findings or to take some other action with regard to the findings that are presented.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, you good? Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, motion on the floor is concurrence to C3 through C6. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
C7, application of Kenosha Beach House LLC for a temporary outdoor extension of the Class B beer, Class C wine only license located at 5001 Simmons Island Road for an event on June 20 through June 22, 2025, with no adverse recommendations from the police department.
Gentleman from the 16th.
C8, application of PJ Doghouse Inc. for a temporary outdoor extension of the Class B beer, Class B liquor license located at 2621 30th Avenue for an event on June 28, 2025, with no adverse recommendations from the police department. C9, application of the Boogeyman LLC for an outdoor cafe area license located at 7546 Sheridan Road with no adverse recommendations from the police department.
Okay, at this time, open it up to a hearing. Anyone here to speak on items C7, 8, or 9, please come forward, state your name and address.
Hello, I'm Meryl Strickarts, 727 Sheridan Road, Kenosha 53140, and I'm just here if there's any questions.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in 7, 8, or 9? C7, 8, or 9?
Chelsea Vecchione, 2519 South Brisbane, Milwaukee, and I'm just here if anybody has any questions.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else, C7, 8, or 9? Anyone else here to speak? Anyone else here to speak? If not, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is it concurrence, Mr. Chair? Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
C10, application of Saber Latino Restaurant, Inc. for a yearly cabaret license located at 3823 22nd Avenue to be effective June 18, 2025, with no adverse recommendations from the police department.
Gentleman from the 16th.
C11, application of Kenosha Creative Space, Inc. for a daily cabaret license located at 624 57th Street for an event to be held on June 21st, 2025, with no adverse recommendations from the police department.
Okay, at this time, we'll open it up to a hearing. Anyone here to speak on C10 or C11, please come forward, state your name and address. Anyone here to speak? Anyone here to speak? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence, C10 and C11. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
C12, renewal application of Carrie Oberholzer for a taxi cab permit with no adverse recommendations from the police department.
Gentleman from the 16th. Moved and seconded to concur on item C12. At this time, open up to a hearing. Anyone here speak on item C12, please come forward, state your name and address.
Carrie Oberholzer, 8627 17th Avenue, Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm here if you have any questions.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else here to speak on item C12? Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
C13, application of Ali Big C6 LLC for a probationary cabaret license located at 2401 60th Street to be effective June 17, 2025, with no adverse recommendations from the police department.
Gentleman from the 16th.
C14, application of Public Brewing LLC for a public entertainment license located at 628 58th Street to be effective July 1, 2025, with no adverse recommendations from the police department. C15, application of Stella Hotel LLC located at 5706 8th Avenue for a permanent outdoor extension of the Class B beer, Class B liquor license with no adverse recommendations from the police department. C16, applications of Slores Group LLC located at 5703 6th Avenue, a new Class B beer, Class B liquor license upon surrender of a similar license from Bloomchino Investments LLC to be effective June 17, 2025, with a recommendation from the city attorney to grant subject to 50 demerit points. B, probationary cabaret license to be effective June 17, 2025. C17, applications of Cholitas Ventures LLC located at 1400 52nd Street, with no adverse recommendations from the police department. A, new Class B beer, Class B liquor license upon surrender of a similar license from La Esquina Bar and Grill LLC to be effective July 1st, 2025. B, probationary cabaret license to be effective July 1st, 2025. C18, applications of Mavericks Corral Inc. located at 5521 Washington Road, with no adverse recommendations from the police department. A, new Class B beer, Class B liquor license upon surrender of a similar license from Denny's Sports Den Inc. to be effective July 1, 2025. B, probationary cabaret license to be effective July 1, 2025. C, permanent outdoor extension with a request to change the closing hours to 1:30 a.m.
Okay, at this time, open it up to a hearing. Anyone here to speak on items C13 through C18, please come forward, state your name and address.
Rachel Fisher, 425 15th Street, Racine. I'm just here for any questions.
Okay. Thank you. There may be some after we finish the hearing.
Hi, I'm Duke Maddox, 1612 12th Street, Kenosha. I'm here for Mavericks Corral in case there are any questions.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Mike Zerner, 10701 64th Street, Kenosha. Here for any questions.
Thank you, sir.
Sarai Guzman Alvarez, 1007 75th Street, Kenosha, Wisconsin, 53140. I'm just here for any questions you guys have for me.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? C13 through C18. Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence in C13 through 18. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
C19, renewal applications for Class B beer, Class B liquor licenses with a recommendation from the city attorney to grant subject to demerit points. A, Slip 56, Inc., 15 demerit points. B, Marina Gardens, Inc., 20 demerit points. C, TG Enterprises, Inc., 20 demerit points. D, Slores Group, LLC, 50 demerit points. E, JG Hospitality Group, 55 demerit points.
Gentleman from the 17th, or 16th, excuse me.
C20, renewal application of Walgreen Company located at 7525 Sheridan Road for a Class A beer, Class A liquor license, along with a successor of agent from Candace Porter to Ossie Grissett, with no adverse recommendations from the police department. C21, renewal application of Elena Beerhead for a Class A beer, Class A liquor license located at 6830 14th Avenue, with a recommendation from the city attorney to grant subject to 10 demerit points. License and permits recommended to approve 4-0. C22, renewal applications for the following licenses with no adverse recommendations from the Police Department. A1, Class A retail liquor. B3, Class A retail beer, Class A liquor. C3, Class B beer, Class C liquor, wine only. D1, Class C liquor, wine only. E21, Class B beer, Class B liquor. F2, Class B beer, reserve Class B liquor. C23, renewal application of TU Keno Bar LLC for a Class B beer, Class B liquor license located at 6935 75th Street with no adverse recommendations from the Police Department.
Okay, at this time, open it up to a hearing. Anyone here speak on items C19 through C23? C19 through C23, please come forward, state your name and address.
Elena Bearhead, 6830 14th Avenue. I'm here if you have any questions.
Thank you. Anyone else? C19 through C23.
Mike Zerner, 10701 64th Street, Kenosha. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? C19 through C23. Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
C24, 30 applications for yearly cabaret licenses to be effective July 1, 2025 with no adverse recommendations from the Police Department.
Gentleman from the 16th. Moved and seconded to concur on C24. At this time, open up to a hearing. Anyone here speak on item C24, please come forward, state your name and address. Anyone here to speak on C24? Anyone here to speak? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
F, zoning ordinances first reading. F1, zoning ordinance by the mayor to create subsection 18.020000 of the zoning ordinance to adopt the revised FEMA flood insurance rate maps.
Yep, go ahead.
F2, rezoning ordinance by City Plan Commission to rezone various properties located in the city of Kenosha in accordance with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, LOMR, case number 23-05-0545P-55029. F3, zoning ordinance by the mayor to create subparagraph 19.015 to A54, adding a new case number to the letters of map revision, revising the Federal Emergency Management Agency flood insurance rate maps for the city of Kenosha zoning ordinance. F4, zoning ordinance by the mayor to create subsection 18.02 PPPPP of the zoning ordinance to amend the land use plan map for the city of Kenosha 2035. F5, rezoning ordinance by the mayor to rezone a portion of the property at 3917 59th Street from IP Institutional Park District to B2 Community Business District, and to rezone a portion of the property at 3928 60th Street from B2 Community District to IP Institutional Park District. F6, zoning ordinance by Alderperson Kenny Harper to amend some paragraph 4.06B20G2 of the zoning ordinance for the city of Kenosha regarding location requirements for conditional use permits for tattoo establishments.
Okay, motion on the floor is to send F1 through F6 on their way. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I, resolutions. I1, resolutions by the Committee on Finance to levy special charges. A, boarding and securing, $734. B, trash and debris removal, $783.89. C, grass and weed cutting, $4,078.24. D, property maintenance reinspection fees, $8,972. Finance recommended to approve 5-0.
Gentleman from the 13th. There's a 3 right there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to concur with the Finance Committee recommendations on I-1 and I-2 after being read in all necessary hearings.
I-2, resolution by the Finance Committee to correct Resolution 57-25 for Project 24-1029, 22nd Avenue, Phase 7. Finance recommended to approve 5-0.
Okay, motion on the floor is concurrence of I-1 and I-2. Item 1 is open notice for a hearing. Anyone here to speak on item I-1, please come forward, state your name and address. Anyone here to speak on I-1? Anyone here to speak? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 12 to 0. I3, resolution by the Committee on Public Works, preliminary resolution declaring intent to levy assessments for sidewalks and/or driveway approaches for Project 25-1040 71st Street resurfacing.
Gentleman from the 15th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Make a motion to concur with finding Public Works on I-3 and I-4 after being read.
I4, resolution by the mayor to approve a final plot located at 15th Place and 27th Avenue.
Okay, motion on the floor is concurrence, I-3 and I-4. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 12 to 0. J, appointments, reappointments by the mayor. J1, appointment of Emily Gashke to the Kenosha Public Library Board of Trustees to fill a term that begins July 1, 2025 and will expire on June 30, 2028.
Gentleman from the second. Moved and second to approve the appointment. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 12 to 0. K, public construction and improvement contracts. K1, award of contract for project 24-1044, 67th Street and 99th Avenue resurfacing to Lalonde Contractors, Inc., in the amount of $317,400.
Gentleman from the 15th.
Mayor, make a motion to concur with finding Public Works on K1, K2, and L1 after being read.
K2, award of contract for project 25-1048, 73rd Street resurfacing to A.W. Oaks & Son, Inc., in the amount of $442,600. L, other contracts and agreements. L1, distribution easement underground between Wisconsin Electric Power Company, DBA We Energies, at 5500 8th Avenue.
Okay, at this time, any discussion? K1, K2, and L1. Seeing none, motion on the floor is concurrence. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 12 to 0. L2, approvement of transfer of 6409 11th Avenue by the City of Kenosha to Welcome Home Properties and Management, LLC. Finance recommended to approve 5 to 0.
Gentleman from the 13th.
Move to concur with the Finance Committee recommendation to approve L2.
Okay, motion on the floor is concurrence on L2. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 12 to 0. L3, temporary limited easement agreement with WISDOT for grading and sloping near Washington Park.
Gentleman from the first.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to concur with the recommendation of the Park Commission to approve L3 and L4 after being read.
Is there a second?
L4, assignment of lease between the City of Kenosha Board of Park Commissioners and U.S. Cellular regarding the site St. John C. 777359 at 4400 87th Place.
Okay, motion on the floor is concurrence with Parks on L3 and L4. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 12 to 0. L5, Second Amendment to Agreement by and between City of Kenosha, Wisconsin through Kenosha Area Transit and Kenosha Achievement Center, Inc. Finance recommended to approve 5 to 0. Transit recommended to approve 4 to 1.
Gentleman from the 13th.
Move to concur with Finance Committee recommendation to approve.
Moved and seconded to concur with finance in L5. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Kingus. Motion carries 12-0. M, recommendations from the Committee on Finance. M1, request from William Schultz to rescind one reinspection fee in the total amount of $72 for 7944 40th Avenue. Finance recommended to deny the request, 5-0.
Gentleman from the 13th.
Move to concur with the Finance Committee recommendation to deny M1.
Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded to concur with the recommendation, which is to deny. I'm getting there, sir. At this time, we'll open up to a hearing. Anyone here to speak on item M1? Please give us your name and address for the record, please. 1 second, sir. Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that.
William R. Schultz, 7944 40th Avenue. When I made the appeal, it just occurred to me from looking at the original order to repair that it refers to the garage. Now, it talked about scaling surface and chip paint, stain, and stuff like that, which I did paint on the fascia, especially in the front where it was chipped and stained, or whatever, chipping. The back was faded, okay? When I got an order that I did not, oh, by the way, this was done by sometime in the middle of April, so it was within the date stated, May 1st. So I believed that I had done the work required, but then I get an order for this fine thing. So I come down here and talk to the inspector, and they told me that the complaint really occurred because the lady behind me didn't like the way my shed looked. Note that shed is not garage and was not included in the original statement. So that was the error I made, that I didn't, in my appeal, say I wasn't informed properly about the shed, which is now repaired since Memorial Day. That's my statement.
Okay, thank you, sir. There may be questions from the council. At this time, anyone else here to speak on item M1? Anyone else here to speak on M1? Anyone else? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence of M1. Gentleman from the first.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm not sure if anyone from inspections can comment on that. If there was actually a mistake on the identification of the actual structure that had the violations, I'd be curious.
Mr. Roberts?
So the order to repair, which was issued on February 3rd of 2025, the first one is the garage, and it says properly prepare and paint all surfaces with chipping, paint, stains, including but not limited to walls, fascia, and trim. There's a second charge there, garage, repair gutters which are pulling away from the fascia and are loose. I'm not sure about where the term garage or shed or whatever comes into play there. It's clear on the order what is required to be done. It wasn't done in its entirety, which is why the reinspection fee was issued.
Mr. Chairman?
I yield the floor. Thank you, sir.
Okay, anyone else have any questions for Mr. Roberts or any comments? If not, motion on the floor is concurrence, finance, which is to deny. Correct, Mr. Chairman?
Correct.
All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please. An aye is to uphold the denial.
Motion to deny carries 12-0. M2, request from 3 Bright Star Apartments LLC to refund 4 reinspection fees in the total amount of $1,440 for 1924 62nd Street. Finance recommended to deny 5-0.
Gentleman from the 13th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move concurrence by the Finance Committee on M2 and M3 after being read for denial. M2 would be denial.
M3 is,
M3 is approval.
got it.
M3 disbursement record number 10, $7,230,096.30. Finance recommended to approve 5-0.
Okay, at this time, we'll open up to a hearing on M2. Anyone here to speak on item M2, please come forward, state your name and address. Anyone here to speak on M2? Anyone here to speak? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence of M2, which is to deny, and M3 to approve. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye, those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 12-0. And recommendations from the Committee on Public Works. N1, request from Lakeshore Pedal Tours LLC, Merrill Strickerts for a quadricycle license and review of proposed routes.
Gentleman from the 15th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Make a recommendation to concur with the findings of Public Works on N1 and N2.
M3? Okay.
N2, request from Kevin and Sutson Highslope for a sidewalk deferment.
Okay, motion on the floor is concurrence with Public Works in N1 and N2. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye, those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 12-0. N3, request from Schutz Container Systems, Inc. for a sidewalk exception for property located at 4241 70th Avenue.
Gentleman from the 15th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make the following motion on N3. Motion to approve item N3 pursuant to section 5.05.C.7.B Code of the General Ordinances.
Mr. Chair, if you could, can you highlight to the committee the,
Yes.
let me give you a try here and see if it works. Nope.
No.
Speak loudly, sir.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Just concur. This is an exception. It's not a deferral, and it is not a forever exception. So based on the guidance from the city attorney, that was the recommendation to specify the direct item in our Code of General Ordinances.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone have any questions or any comments or any discussion on the motion to concur on N3? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye, those opposed no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 12-0. O, recommendations from the Committee on Public Safety and Welfare. O1, request from Valerie Krinsky for a backyard chicken coop license.
Gentleman from the 5th.
I make a motion to approve as recommended by Public Safety and Welfare.
Moved and seconded to approve. At this time, open it up to a public hearing. Anyone here to speak on O1, please come forward, state your name and address.
Valerie Krinsky, 7115 33rd Avenue. Here to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else here to speak on item O1? Anyone else here to speak? Anyone else? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Motion on the floor is approval of item O1. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 11-1.
Okay, Alderperson's comments. Lady from the 12th, I hope. Yes.
Okay, perfect. We are planning, well, a couple of us are planning for the National Night Out again this year, and we are inviting all of the alderpersons that would like to participate in the National Night Out this year to please do so. We're going to be at Petsky Park? Petsky Park this year. And that's going to be August 5th. So if anyone else would like to be part of the planning process, please feel free to contact either myself, Alderperson Brandy, or Alderperson Penny. Oh, or Alderperson Holly.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentleman from the 16th.
Yes. Kenosha Mural Project, they finished a mural. It's just beautiful. It's it's on the Vault Building, 625 57th Street. If you haven't driven by it, it's just gorgeous. Kenosha Creative Space spearheaded this mural. They're going to put in at least 6 murals in the downtown area, 10. It's just beautiful. So the paint was from Rust-Oleum, a Kenosha company. It's just beautiful. So take a drive by and see it. So I'm happy. I'm happy that they're doing this for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. And gentleman from the 14th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Wait a second.
Oh.
Can we correct that or no?
Just
Speak loudly, Alderperson. Thank you, Alderperson Harper. Anyone else? Oh, well, we'll see. Wait, it says from the 10th, but let's
Yeah,
try
I know.
that. There you go.
I want to thank or congratulate the girls softball team from Bradford High School. They had an amazing run this year. It was a pitcher's duel all the way. Anybody who watched the game, it was a 1-0 game. 2 fantastic pitchers. We came up on the short end, but those girls can keep their head high because 2 years in a row going to state is a huge accomplishment. So congratulations, girls, Bradford softball team. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? I just want to, I wasn't going to make a comment about it, but I think it's important. I think everybody saw the tragedy that occurred in Minnesota this past weekend. And the reason I speak on it, one is we're praying for the victims and their families as they deal with this tragic event. But secondly, it is incumbent upon all of us, particularly those who are in public office, who have the ability to have a microphone when it works, to lower the temperature around our community, around this country, around the world. People listen to what we have to say, whether we like it or not. You're voted into office, and it's an awesome power, an awesome responsibility that we all have. And again, I'm not no one in this room. I'm just making a general statement to anybody in elective office. You need to recognize that awesome responsibility that you do have. And things that you say can sometimes be taken out of context. Sometimes things you can say in the heat of the battle, and I've been guilty of it myself. We need to recognize that people are listening to what we have to say. And I think it's very, very important for us to remember that As I've said many, many times, we work for the people. They put us in these chairs to represent them. And while we may always have, we will have disagreements. It happens. That's how this country was founded. That's how we've sustained it for nearly 250 years. But we do that in a way that is respectful, in a way that is moving the ball forward every single time. And I think it's just important for us to remember that as we talk to our friends and colleagues in various positions of authority over the years, to remind everybody of that. And I think it's important for us to take stock in that. Again, I don't know what the motivations of any of this person was, whether or not that is, but sometimes when you see things, when there are tragic events or things that happen around, remember that we have an awesome responsibility, and it's important for us to recognize it every single day, because people look at what we say, and sometimes they take it on themselves and sometimes do really stupid things. And it's important for all of us to recognize it. Again, I've said, I'm not talking about anybody in this room. I'm myself. I've said many a stupid thing over the years, sometimes in the heat of the moment. And I recognize, as I'm now getting a little bit older, that those words matter. And so it's important for us to remember that. And so again, I ask you to please hold those families in your hearts and prayers as they deal with a very tragic event, and hope for the best. As I reminded a colleague of ours in the state legislature this weekend, we've gone through tough times before. We will always go through tough times. Never gets easy. It never gets easier. But we will come out stronger than we've ever had before. I feel always very, very confident and optimistic about this country, and particularly about this city as we deal with lots of different issues every single day. So with that, a motion to adjourn to be in order. On your laptop, please. That still works. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.